But you know, I am very happy that God was really using my husband. I was really skeptical going back. As I told you a few minutes ago, I was skeptical going to California because when I come back, there could be a lockdown, October the 2nd. But God was so good, you know. And when I went to Loma Linda, that's where I went to Loma Linda. During this is because we have our school reunion. And from the 50s to the present, almost everybody, Loma Linda Dawson auditorium was really fully crowded. So one of my schoolmates, because it was my class who sponsored the service and the convocations and everything, one of my classmates who attended the John conference has reported this thing happened in the Philippines, and recently, just about a couple of months ago, they baptized 10,000 Filipinos, soldiers, and rebels. The first time that amazing facts, especially the AWR, that is broadcasting service, when they went to the Philippines, that they targeted Mindoro. That was really infested with rebels. We call them New People's Army. Literally, for my cousin here, we call it no permanent address because they don't have any permanent address really. But they would visit only their families once in 2 months, only for the weekend. So this Adventist World Radio came in, and some rebels were hiding and they were listening to the message. Eventually, what they did was to go to the house of one of our ministers, Pastor Dulay, and the pastor, of course, was shocked. He was scared because, you know, NPA, what? They're going to kill me. So they said, our commander wants to meet with you. Of course, Pastor Dulay was so scared. He was praying and he has a Bible in his pocket. And he got there, the commander, who was noted as the exterminator, to him, not killing was nothing. He said, I need to know what this Adventist denomination is all about.
Praise God.
So they did was to do Bible study. All the NPAs in Mindoro do Bible study. And Pastor Gray said, what was the reason for you guys killing and killing? They would kill about so much. More than 40,000 they would kill like just nothing. That's why they're called the rebels, because they were against the government. They would kill really bad people. They would kill some politicians. They would kill private people who seems to be investing so much in a not so good way. But these rebels finally turned their lives to God. Except for this Mr. Exterminator, who at the age of 7, joined his father, his uncle, and his cousin as a New People's Army. At the age of 13, he had a first killing spree. He was scared at first, but he got used to it. So he said, I don't care. There was one minister of our denomination that he wanted to kill, and that minister was pleading for his life. He was really pleading. Well, he's known as an exterminator, and once an exterminator is an exterminator. But that face of that minister stuck into his heart and his mind. One weekend, he came home, and he heard his wife and children listening to this radio. Of course, the wife suddenly tried to lower the volume because, you know, and he said, turn it on, make it louder. He sat there, and while he was sitting there, the Lord was working in his heart. And the Lord said, you don't call me, I called you. That was the verse that he heard in the AWR. So he had to look for Pastor Dulay again. And he said, I want to be baptized. So all of them. Now, that time when this news came out, there were about 5,000 NPA who were baptized.
Amen.
A couple of months ago, both military and NPAs from other parts of the Philippines, 10,000 were baptized. So the military commander happens to be, I know him, not just to mention his name, but he said, please, Amazing Facts and AWR, work with us because we want the Philippines to be united. And please go down to Mindanao, which is really, really infested with Muslims, especially Holusulu. It's a very nice place. It's a tourist spot, but nobody can enter there because they isolated themselves, and it's all typical Muslim. Actually, one of the Muslim commander, his name is Abu Sayyaf. He got hurt. He was taken to one of our province hospital in Mountain View College in Mindanao. From there, he wondered why he was not transferred to another private hospital. Little did he knew that he was going to be converted. When God calls somebody, when God calls us in His own way. So we have to listen very carefully. He's talking to us through our heart. That is how he did to Commander Abu Sayyaf, who is another exterminator. He kills anyone who wants to, and this is gruesome. I don't like to say it, but if you can, he eats what he kills. It's really horrible. But God called him, and now he is a minister. He said, I used to be somebody in the Bible. Paul. Now he is? Yeah. When God calls, He really calls. So listen, even for us here in church, He has a mission for us. And actually, in our time when I was in Loma Linda, our whole group was taken, we had a tour. So the first church, can you move to Loma Linda, please? The first hospital that was built in God's order was this Loma Linda Hospital. They just had to build it higher, more and more elaborate, but that was the spot where Ellen G. White said, the Lord said, here on this spot is where you're going to build the hospital. So Loma Linda is known worldwide because of the advanced technology, and all the doctors and nurses or the medical team doesn't claim it on their own, but they claim it because the Lord has taught them, the Lord has instructed them. And then there's a new building that Loma Linda has also built. That's one. This is the new building. It's huge. So we have the neonatal there, where one of my schoolmate, classmate, best friend, maid of honor is working there as a physician. I will show you also the house of Ellen G. White. It's in Northern California. I've been to her place. This is Elm's Heaven. This is where she retired. Okay, please. And of course, she has a beautiful place. And that home of hers was spared during the wildfire in California. There's a pic. It's awesome, really. That's how it looks like if you see the whole house. And on top of there, if you can see, there is a balcony up there, where about the second floor, there's a balcony. There's a huge window where she would do right when God talks to her. And there's a hallway that her granddaughter Ruth, I met Ruth, and she said, this is the hallway where my grandmother would say, add some more cutlery. And the grandmother said, like, why? And she said, because we have more guests. Usually Ellen G. White, she doesn't claim to be a prophet. She just claims, if the Lord calls me to write something, I just have her. She goes in a trance. I saw the biggest Bible she carried, during that meeting. And then she would always put an extra cutlery on her dining table, because every time they would eat, she knew the Lord was there sitting beside and dwelling with them. So she said, add one more, because there was the angel who was there with them. With Ellen G. White, the Lord told her to build more. So we had the Andrews University, we had the Pacific Union, And Pacific Union, we have the PUC, Philippine Union College, where I also started my college there in music. And then I had further on women's, of course. So this very home was the last home that she stayed. She has so many places that she went. She went to Australia. There were hospitals in Australia. But all her granddaughters said what her grandmother said, which the Lord has dictated and told them, reach out. So this is the very last of our stage. Anytime the Lord would come, anytime. The question is, are we really ready when He comes? Thank you.